Welcome back, everybody. I have finally just about, probably not, recovered from my first convention. So I put together a little vlog, but I didn't film as much as I wanted to. So I'm going to keep cutting back to me here to elaborate on things and introduce what it is that I'm talking about. But basically, on Sunday, just gone, which was yesterday at time of recording. Was it yesterday? I can't even remember what day it is because I'm that befuddled. But basically, it was amazing. We went to the International Convention Centre in Newport, which is somewhere I've been before, twice, to graduate from university, and I can safely say that I had much more fun yesterday than I did at both of them combined. It was absolutely brilliant. We basically spent the whole day there, really. We didn't get a chance to go on the Saturday, but I think we did everything that you needed to there on the Sunday, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to just, let myself give you the preemptive ramble as I'm walking down to meet my friends in the car. So it's Sunday morning. It's just before 8 o'clock. I have left the house. I'm on my way. Need to go to Tesco, get some snacks, because I haven't heard great things about the food there. But that's not the important thing, is it? I'm scared I'm going to break my neck on this. It's very slippy and wet because it's Wales. But I'm very excited. It's still not really kicked in properly yet. It's almost like it's still weeks away. But I am incredibly excited, and it's just going to be good. We've got a Torchwood panel first, and then I think there's a few other panels throughout the day, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Mark Williams. There's a lot of rubbish in there, it's horrible. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. So we got there, we queued up, we were in pretty much straight away, really. The only delay was the fact that the queue was obviously staggered like you would at an event or something like that, so we just had to walk in and out of the things, and as we did, we saw Father Christmas, and then we had Father Christmas and an elf on our left, and then a Dalek on the right that was shouting at us to move quicker, which was, that was good fun. I enjoyed that. But when we got in, we were in the main entrance hall, and we saw some pretty cool Doctor Who props pretty much straight away, which we all sort of darted over to within seconds of getting through the door. So we made it, and it's K9. How cool is that? It's actually so class in here so far. Got some more Doctor Who things over there. The scariest alien all just in front of me, but that's just Liam. But so far, it looks pretty good. So we found some more things. There's a Weeping Angel there, an Ood, and a Dalek-Sec hybrid, and then a little special Dalek just sat in the corner there. Honestly, that was just the start of the creative talent that was on display in this place, because we went into the dealer's room then, which is the main hall part where all of the stands where people are selling stuff are, and there's so many handmade things which were just incredible. There were some amazing people doing art. There was one stand where there was a girl, she was just literally painting stuff as she was going, and she had all these other prints that she obviously painted and had been scanned onto prints and everything. And there was just some loads of merch. There was a Doctor Who stand with merch and figures that I hadn't seen since I was a kid, which was very nostalgic. There were loads of different set builds as well, including a Barbie box, which I got into. I know, stunning. Then we had a look over the rest of it, where we saw the sort of some of the stars that were going to be there were going to be placed. There was Mark Williams, Ioan Gruffudd, Sean Gunn, and Michael Rooker were going to be stationed there. They hadn't come out just yet while we were there. A couple of other people, I think, from, was it Sons of Anarchy? I'm not too sure. It probably was. I think that's what they were there for. But there were other set constructions. There was some Stranger Things stuff. There was some Harry Potter things. There was Boba Fett's throne. And outside there was the Batmobile and everything. I should have put that in earlier, but here you go. Yeah, we had to walk around, and there were some nice bits of food to try as well, including some very nice and tasty but very spicy sauces, which I made the mistake of doing about 5 minutes before we went to the auditorium for the Torchwood panel. So as I recorded the next clip, my mouth was on fire and it's a little bit lispy, so feel free to take the piss out of that as much as you want, because I would. But it was very nice sauce, though, to be fair, and I kind of wish I'd bought a bottle now. We've got 15 minutes to the Torchwood panel, and it's really good. We've had a couple of look around the stalls and everything. I've just tried a very hot sauce and have entirely burnt the roof of my mouth, and it's still quite sore now. But apart from that, enjoying it. Very enjoying it. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm going to go see Torchwood. We met Mark Williams as well. We had a quick chat with him in the queue. He didn't have as much of a queue as some of the others at the minute, so we thought it'd be a good chance to go up and say hello, get an autograph from him too. he was very lovely, very friendly. I'll talk more about him when his panel. But then we went into the Torchwood panel, which was the first big thing of the day. I think that was about 10 o'clock in the morning. It was nice and quiet. It wasn't too quiet, but it wasn't like absolutely jam-packed like I thought some of the panels were going to be, and like the main one of the day was. But it was nice. It gave us a chance. The moderator was really great. She was asking some good questions, but the majority of it was just an open sort of Q&A where you could queue up at the microphone. And of course, me being me, I had to get up there and ask a question.
So I was just wondering, in terms of, like, obviously we haven't got Torchwood on the telly at the minute, but we have got the Big Finish audios. And I was just wondering, because obviously Gareth's written some as well, have you got any more in mind to do, and would Kai consider writing any as well?
I probably won't write, no. I don't know. I've spoken about it a couple of times, but I probably won't write them. It's just never been on my sort of agenda, really, sort of do that, I think. And I think the guys who are, Gareth's got great talent for it, and I just haven't. And I will try anything, I really will, but I just know, no, that's not my game. I'd rather like, you know, somebody write for me, and then I'll try my best to sort of interpret what they've written, I think. I would love to do more. I've just done one recently. Very lucky to do a couple of years with Big Finish. They call and go and got a great script for you, and you know, and that's one is very much Reese-led with a new cast, but very much Reese on his own, in sort of like a really dark sort of horror story about witchcraft, which is really nice. A really good script. There's some lovely stories, aren't there? Really lovely stories. But for me, I will do them all day long, but I'll leave the writing to the guys.
It's not my first thing. We're all storytellers, aren't we? We all have different ways of telling stories.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy writing. Acting, I think, will always be my main outlet creatively. But I really do enjoy them. I've just actually finished one that we're recording next month. I can't say any more than that, and maybe another couple next year. And I've just recorded 3 Torchwood ones, which is Yanto and Torchwood 1 with Yvonne Hartman before the Fall of Canary Wharf, and they are great fun. We've got our own little team in Tracy Hanover, myself and Tim Bentnick, who plays a character called Tommy in it, and then those characters have become really well established now. We always have great fun. So look out for those. Lots of comedy and lots of heart.
If you want the honest answer, is that I have written a couple of Big Finishes, but they won't allow me to kill off PC Andy. That's what it is. So within the first 2 pages, I always try to, and a rock falls on PC Andy, roll credits. But for some reason, they never get commissioned, so that's why.
I thought Torchwood, the death of PC Andy was really good one.
Yeah, I know. Again, it's still not getting released.
And Torchwood, PC Andy gets it.
Yeah.
And Torchwood,
PC Andy takes honor, PC Andy gets eaten, PC Andy gets flattened, PC Andy gets incinerated. They've not picked them up for some reason. I don't know why. So, we'll get there. Thank you.
But it was a really good panel. It was really interesting. It was nice to see that Kai and Gareth have still got a very nice relationship. They said that they were working together on some stuff at the minute, which they don't have any scenes in, but something for Welsh TV, which is cool. But it was a nice warm-up, really, to the majority of the day. It was nice to get you in the mood for it after having we did have a quick sort of mince around before, like I said. But it was nice to have just have quite a nice, small, quite intimate panel just to get things going. But it was really good fun. And then we came out of there, and I had this photo booked for the doctors, but I knew that Sophie Aldred was going to be there. So I thought to myself, it would be nice to get maybe a picture or an autograph with Sophie and say hello. So we went upstairs, we went to one room which had the Back to the Future cast and the main setup for where the professional photos were going to be taken, and a couple of other, again, mind-blowingly good pieces of art, which were all hand done and everything, as most art usually is. Then I found the room that as soon as I walked into, I saw the TARDIS in the corner. Then we had Paul McGann, some Sylvester McCoy, Sophie Aldred, Colin Baker, Peter Davison, the 2 boys from Torchwood, and who else is the other one? I think some from Star Wars in there. And I got a bit starstruck, I can't lie. Walked in there and was seeing... I've never been to a convention before, so seeing these people in person for the first time was just mind-blowing. Luckily, there's no footage of that. I composed myself pretty well and went up to Sophie Aldred. I saw that she was doing just a normal picture on the phone for £10, which was a bit of a steal. So I asked her for a photo, and we went over to the TARDIS. I had a couple of photos, which I've already posted, but here are some more. We even had a chance to have a bit of a conversation as well, which was nice. And I was telling her how she was the first companion that I saw, and she was genuinely really lovely. She didn't make it feel, when I spoke to some of the doctors, they were all on top form, don't get me wrong, but you could tell that they were very used to the routine of it, But Sophie Aldred genuinely was like, it was as if I was the first person that had spoken to her all weekend. So it was quite nice, and she was really lovely. They all were, to be fair. But then I went over to the doctors because I couldn't resist saying hello, and I ended up paying for autographs with all of them as well, which I realise you probably can't see here at the minute. So I'll drop them in afterwards, and I'll show you the artwork I bought later on as well. I don't know I'm talking because you probably can't hear me because of the microphone. But yeah, they're all behind me, and I'll show them properly now. Or later. I don't know. I'll decide in the edit. But they spoke to all of them for a good couple of minutes, to be fair, which was really nice. It wasn't, because it was still quite early in the morning, it hadn't had the main entry come in yet. It still felt very relaxed. It was nice. There were definitely a few other people dotted around, a few other people that I recognised from Twitter and different podcasts and everything. So that was quite nice as well, to see some familiar faces off Twitter in person too. But yeah, I spoke to Peter Davison about his book because he had that for sale there, and I was telling how much I enjoyed that. Same with Sophie Aldred as well. Colin Baker was very chatty. He was asking us whereabouts we're from and if we travelled far, and we were, only up the road really. So he was asking us how we were and everything. Sylvester McCoy was a really good laugh as well. And then we got into a queue for Paul McGann, and he was really chatty as well. And I managed to even get a bit of a clip of interaction, which you might have already seen on TikTok. But many thanks to Liam for filming this. I sort of did drag him away from having a drink to beg him essentially to take my phone and film a bit of footage of me getting my autograph of Paul McGann. And we had a bit of a chat about his TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver because he had a toy version of the Dark Eyes sonic screwdriver. So I'll just play that now and stop spoiling everything.
First of all, I think Capaldi got my chin. They try and have a sort of heirloomy thing that goes from one to the other. Capaldi took the chin.
Yeah, I've seen that. I love
Do
this.
you know what I mean? No, it's just a toy. It's not the real one, obviously. They just get wrecked.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I did it for this one. So,
Pleasure. Good to meet you.
But it's an interesting little anecdote that, because I don't know if that's necessarily true, but those chairs, the one on the one that he's talking about with Capaldi on the top level of that TARDIS, it definitely did seem quite similar. Now he's pointed it out, so that would be a fun little, like you said, like an heirloom for the TARDISes as well. By the time we come out of there, it was getting close to lunchtime, so then we went outside. This was probably the only thing of the day that disappointed me. Was the lunch options were very bare, and they were very expensive for what they were. There was 3 food stands in total. One of them was a Greek stand that was selling some chicken dish, and then the vegetarian option or vegan option of that. Both of them were £10. There was a burger stand, they were selling chicken burger, beef burger, or a vegan burger for all of them £10, and it literally was just the burger. It wasn't even any sauce or anything. And then there was a little Mexican style stand, which was called, it was something to do with burritos, and they were literally just selling nachos, like chili beef nachos, and then like plant-based vegan chili beef nachos. They were a bit cheaper, and they were, it was nice enough, don't get me wrong, but I think it would have been nice to have a bit more of an option considering how many people are going there. I know lots of people on Facebook and Twitter were saying that they brought their own food, which is definitely something I would do next time. Because I did bring some snacks, but I didn't bring an actual something to have for lunch. And I think it would have just been easier if I did, to be honest, because the food, it was fine, but the prices were, for the other meals, were unjustifiable in my opinion. But I did have a nice glass of Pimm's in the windy, overcast, sunny August Wales. But yeah, that was good. So we did that, had a little bit of another wander around, because the dealer's hall does take a while to go around all of it and to have a look at everything properly. So we did another bit of that, and then it was time for the main panel of the day, sort of headliner panel, which was Sean Gunn and Michael Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy and other bits and pieces, obviously. And it was quite interesting because at first it was only Sean Gunn that came on with the moderator of the panel, whose name escapes me. But he did a very nice, Q&A. He just, he talked a bit about different things and what it was like working with his brother so closely. And he came across as he was a really nice, really sound guy, to be fair. And then sort of halfway through him talking, it was sort of getting to about, I think the panel started at 12:30 and it's getting close to 1 o'clock or something. And then Michael Rooker just walked onto stage as if, he'd always been there. And it was quite funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Rooker!
Well, the party's over, everybody. That's...
The lines. Makes your face look weird. It's like there's colors dancing on your face. Shit, yeah. Wow. Can you feel that? It's weird, huh?
Well, I've seen enough of this man this weekend, so...
And after that, Sean Gunn just, he left. He'd done his half of the Q&A. And then it just turned into the Michael Rooker experience. It was just chaos. It was hilarious, though. But it was sort of, I couldn't tell if it was all completely funny or if some of it was definitely a bit of nervous laughter. There were points where he had jumped off the stage, essentially, went up to people in the queue to ask pictures, went up to people in the queue to basically shove the microphone in their face for them to ask the question, and then was just going around to random members of the audience as well, just getting them to ask questions and everything. At one point as well, there was someone that had dropped their phone over sort of the stand. It's hard to explain the scene, but there was a sort of platform, a walkway through, and they dropped their phone over the barrier of that. And rather than him just bending down to pick it up or something or helping them down, he was encouraging this person to lean over the barrier before flipping them, essentially flipping them over the barrier so they could get their phone, which had me in stitches, to be fair, included. And then he was talking to, I'm assuming it was a small child.
Do you like bunny rabbit? Uh-huh. And then what? Dude, I know. I feel the same way.
And just having a laugh. He came up our side of the steps as well. We were right on the edge of the steps to the... I don't even know how to describe it, but the steps by the seats, essentially. And he just walked straight past us, giving the microphone to different people to ask questions. Absolutely hilarious. He was overrunning like heck, and you could see the people sort of, looking at their watches thinking, this guy's overrunning now. Because the panels were basically one after another all day. They had different people on as well throughout the day. It wasn't just the ones that we went to. But it was very funny. When I don't know if that's usual of Michael Rooker. I assume it probably is. But if you get a chance to go to a convention and Michael Rooker's doing a panel, I would absolutely recommend it. But don't necessarily expect to get your questions asked, because quite often people would just ask questions and he'd make a funny noise and just walk off. So it was a good laugh. So then we had another walk around the dealer's room. We managed to finish it then, go around everything. We'd seen all the stands. If I had a lot more money, I would have bought so many more things from there. It was so difficult to try and prioritise what I was buying, especially because I'd ended up just buying more autographs than I planned to. But there were some very nice Marvel artworks that were up there, which I'll just put in now, and you can see the autographs from the Doctors as well. So here are the autographs, just to butt in, just so you can see them properly, because I know they probably don't show that well in the background. Like I said, bit annoying that I managed to get a Colin Baker portrait instead of getting them all landscapes they match, but that's fine. And then the two Marvel prints I got, which were Moon Knight and then Rocket and Groot, because I just think they look awesome, and I wanted some more decorations for these very bare walls. So anyway, as I was saying, it was just so many people that were dressed in these amazing costumes walking around. There was an amazing Daleks. Like I said, there was a Davros that I think has done lots of conventions, because I've seen him before on Twitter, where he's like he's been had his ride pimped. There were costumes inspired by the Mandalorian that looked amazing. There were lots of different Doctor Who cosplayers as well, which was cool. And it just makes me think I'd love to give all of that a go, but I know I'm nowhere near as creative enough as these people, because they just blow your mind when you're there. And then we headed off then to the last panel that we were going to that day, which was Mark Williams. And that was that was quite a nice quiet panel as well. It didn't feel, again, like it was at the Torchwood one, it didn't feel too quiet, but it wasn't jam-packed, because the Michael Rooker and Sean Gunn one, that was very difficult to get a seat for all of us to sit together at that point. But that was nice and calm. We sat down the front again, and yeah, he was nice. I was keen to get up there and ask a question about Doctor Who and Red Dwarf, but luckily other people beat me to it, so I could stay quite comfortably in my seat. And it was quite nice because obviously he's got a mix of roles as well. He did talk predominantly about Harry Potter, but there were some people, including quite a young kid, that was asking him about Father Brown. Someone asked him about Red Dwarf, which, like I said, I was going to go up and ask, and he just said that he had a great time doing it for the episode or two that he was in up in Manchester when he was a bit younger. I think he was implying that they went out a bit. And he did mention Doctor Who as well, saying that if he could do Doctor Who, I think someone asked him if he could work with another Doctor Who, would it be? And he chose John Pertwee because that was the one he watched growing up. But it was a really nice little end to the panel. By that point then, we were very tired, but I still had one more thing to do. I had to go and get my picture with the 4 doctors that were there, which was pretty straightforward, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a big queue, but the queue was organised quite well. There was a few people in front of me, and you get given a token for how many people are in the picture, but you can walk through with your friends. You don't have to worry about just being stood in the queue on your own. If you're with people that aren't in the photo, they could go in, which means that the people that were with me got to laugh at my face when I walked in and got to have a photo with them, because I was very excited. And to have this photo was really nice. It was nice. It was a nicely done photo. I think the only thing is with the photos is because it's so like one after another, you are in a conveyor belt of people essentially. Because we got the autographs early as well, we were able to have a bit of a chat, but with the photo you are in, it's like, oh, how are we doing this? What pose are we doing? Should we just stand and I'll do a bit of a Hartnell pose, which you can see in the photo. But then after that, I was being ushered along, and I had to shake everyone's hands as well, because there was no way I was leaving without doing that. But it was really nice. Everyone was very friendly. I've seen some other pictures of people there. They've come up with more creative poses, which I think if I was going to do a photo again, I'd come up with something a bit more fun than just sort of standing there. But I think at that point I was just a bit starstruck, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'll just stand and do a Hartnell classic grabbing the jacket. And I didn't even do that very well, because I'm holding it here for some reason rather than up here. Not this jacket, I didn't have the Greg's jacket on, which I think would have been quite fun. But I think if I were to do it again, I would definitely maybe prepare a pose or something. And same with the autograph queue, actually, because I've always thought of doing these conventions. There's always something where I'm thinking, oh, I'd love to ask them this, I'd love to ask them that. But then I got there and my brain froze, and I was sort of looking at the photos to sort of give me a bit of a prompt, because I just was starstruck, completely starstruck. At the end of the day, these are my childhood heroes, so meeting them was a really big deal. But I absolutely loved it. And like I said, with the photo, it was nice. It was a bit expensive, but for a one-off thing, I'm probably not going to get a photo like that again for a few years now. Do you know what I mean? So it was quite justifiable, and especially for a first time as a convention souvenir. You can't really go wrong with that. But the pictures, I think we talked about. Obviously, I talked about the TARDIS with McGann. That was the other thing I talked about with McCoy, because the print I got was from Delta and the Bannermen, which, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I absolutely love. And my co-host Tom isn't so fond of, as far as I know, and not many people are, and I completely get it. But me and Sylvester McCoy had a chat about that, and how when he's in the motorbike, poor Bonnie Langford is being thrown around in it, in the side carriage as they're going up and down the hills of Barry. But yeah, it was nice. I think next time is to definitely go, because essentially when you get the autographs, you can say hello, you can ask them a question or two, while you're there. And I think it's nicer if you don't want to necessarily queue, or if you haven't got time for your question to be asked in a panel or something, because the Doctor Who panel was a Saturday, which we didn't even get a chance to go to. But I think if I were to do it again, would definitely prepare some questions, or just some sort of conversation, rather than me just acting like a smiling goon the whole time, which there's nothing wrong with. But I think I would much prefer to get a bit more detail on things, kind of like I did with the Torchwood panel when I asked my question. But overall, meeting them was a really lovely experience, and to finish the day with that photo, it just really made the whole thing come together, and it was lovely. So I've got another clip from just after I had the photos. We were walking back to the car, and then another video then, because I got home and I think I sort of just sat in my chair for a bit and just took the whole day in, and then realised I hadn't filmed anything when I got back. So enjoy those 2 clips now anyway. So I've had my photo. I didn't faint, so that's good. Nor piss myself. But yeah, the photo's done. I've got a couple of other nice bits now. But I've been around everything, done the talks we wanted to, and had a pretty good day. So yeah, head home now, cup of tea, bit of scran, Yeah, back to future me in the studio, or present me. This is weird. So, I forgot to record stuff when I got back in because I needed a cup of tea and a bit of food because I was a bit peckish. And I think I just needed to let it all sink in. And what a great day. Genuinely, it was a really well-run event, to be fair. I can't fault that at all. I can't wait to go back. I would go back next weekend had I not broken the bank today. But honestly, genuinely, absolutely phenomenal. I think highlights were definitely obviously meeting the doctors for the first time. The Michael Rooker and Sean Gunn panel was absolutely hysterical. I think it's sort of the way it started off with just Sean Gunn doing a standard Q&A and then it turned into the Michael Rooker experience halfway through was hilarious. The talent from everyone there in terms of cosplay and the artwork that was on sale, I wanted to buy loads more than I could. And if I go back, I will definitely be getting more. And I think it just was such a really lovely day. But I'm in my pyjamas now because it's not late, but I'm getting comfy. I've got a hot chocolate and I'm watching behind the scenes of collection box sets because that's the kind of mood I'm in now. And genuinely, top-notch day. Can't wait to go back, honestly. Very soon. Overall, it was a really fantastic event. I think there was definitely enough to do in one day. I thought one of my concerns going into it was we're not going to get a chance to do everything in just the one day, or if we do, we're going to not have a chance to take it all in and enjoy it. But there definitely was enough time to do that, to be honest with you. There was loads of great stuff on show, but being there for the whole day really made everything come alive. Seeing different people in different amazing costumes. There was so much talent on display. It was amazing. And the event itself was really well run. Like Monopoly did a great job. The Monopoly Events company that ran it did an amazing job. The staff there were brilliant. They were really helpful. The ICC staff that were there sort of, guiding you out of the auditorium and showing you where to go and everything, they were really lovely. I think it was just overall a really nice event. The highlights for me are obviously meeting the doctors and Sophie Aldred and getting that photo. I will treasure that forever. And I genuinely, if you can get a chance to go to one of these conventions, it's the first one I've ever been to because where I used to live before I moved, nothing really happened down there and it was always quite difficult to try and get to stuff. But now I'm around here, I think the bug has definitely been bitten and I'm definitely looking at doing another convention in the future and hopefully not spending as much money. But that was on me, that wasn't on them. I don't think anything was really overpriced, to be honest. That was just my lack of self-control. And I want to take Tom to one as well because obviously Tom is not here. He's not dead, he's just not here. But yeah, definitely a chance to take that. And I think they're just really good fun. They were really, the only issue I had throughout the whole day was just the food. And if that's the only problem, when you can take your own food, they do a quick bag inspection on the way in, but there's nothing that stops you. They don't stop you taking anything in. Well, but they do, but not food-wise. You can take sandwiches and whatnot. We did have some snacks with us. But I think if I were to do it again, is to definitely check out what the food options are beforehand and definitely, just bring our own food with us, to be honest. Overall, brilliant day. I think the convention blues have definitely kicked in a little bit. I am feeling a bit gutted to go back to work this morning, sitting at my desk, just reliving everything in my head yesterday. But I think definitely going to have to do some more of these. It was absolutely hilarious. Such a good laugh the whole time. And I would recommend to everyone that they go and do one because it was very, very fun. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling now and get back to everything else that I'm supposed to be doing. We've got another couple of videos in the pipeline now. They've all been edited, ready to go. We're going to be filming some more stuff coming up soon as we build up now to the 60th anniversary. We've got a couple of things to talk about that have come out in the news recently and on Twitter and whatnot. So definitely some stuff to talk about there. So yeah, we'll see you soon. Like, share and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. I never know how to do this bit because that's always Tom's job. But yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed that. So, ta-ra.